right? So let's really dig a little bit deeper and let's start exploring the concept of connecting with your customers. Connecting is obviously the first stage of contact that you have with your customer. The most important thing that you need to show when you're connecting, right, is obviously you need to get to know as much about your prospects as possible. You need to be able to tell them something, or should I rather say, you need to be able to know more about them than just the business. So you want to show the prospects that you've got their best interests at heart, because ultimately, remember, during the connecting phase, what you're really looking to do is you get liking, or you're rather trying to get them to know you, to like you, and to trust you. So think about what have you got to do to help them to get to know you, because obviously you want to get to know them, but you also want them to get to know you. You want to get them to like you, so obviously you need to be friendly and you need to be interested, not interesting. You need to be interested in your customers. You've really got to show them that you have their best interests at heart and that you're there to sincerely help them. Because ultimately, like I said, you want them to know you, like you, and most importantly, trust you. And if someone's going to trust you, that all comes back down to, can they believe everything that you say? Because trust is so, it takes a long time to build, but it can be broken very, very quickly. And that's why I always ask the question, can you ever tell a customer a white lie? And the reality is no. Because imagine if you tell a small little white lie about a delivery or about the availability of product or something, and the customer sort of catches you out, that customer will never ever trust you again. So be very sure, be absolutely certain that when you're connecting with your customers, that you try to find as much that you've got in common with them as possible. And let me give, I think an example is probably the best, is I actually had an occasion where I identified a perfect customer, and it was actually for my speaking business. And when I went to go, before I went to go and see the customer, what I did was I researched them, and amazingly, remember, research is not just LinkedIn or Google. I actually researched this customer, and on Facebook, I actually saw that he was very interested in riding motorcycles. In fact, there was a photograph of him standing with his arm up, resting on a GS 1200 in Cape Town. And I drive a GS 1200. So what I did was I phoned ahead of time and I spoke to the receptionist or the gatekeeper lady, and I asked her where was Niels's office, and she told me it was 2 windows down. And guess what I did? I arrived, and as I arrived, I revved my bike a little bit until I saw the blinds move. Niels looked out, he saw the motorbike, heard the motorbike, and he met me in reception, took me up to his office. We chatted for about an hour. We hardly spoke about whether I could do the speaking or not, but mainly we connected so well that I walked out having actually secured that business, and years later we're still doing that business. So what you really want to do is remember, we're talking about closing sales. Closing sales is not about sitting using manipulation or trying to manipulate your customers using clever concepts and using close-ended questions, and none of that. Closing starts the moment you identify the right prospect, and then it continues. Remember, we spoke about that journey. The journey continues as you connect with your prospects, right? So you need to connect with them on a really, really deep level. And the connection comes from researching. Like I said before, your customers, or should I rather say businesses, never buy from you. It's people at businesses who buy from you. And that's why you need to connect with those people. You need to research them. You need to get a deep understanding of what makes them tick. And once you understand that, then getting them to know you, like you, and trust you becomes really, really simple. Because the more you can show people, you see, right from that moment of connection, the more you can show people that you have their best interests at heart and that you're there to sincerely help and to serve them, what you start to do is you gradually begin to move the relationship down to a much, much deeper level. And remember, while you're connecting with your customers, you need to have some sort of a journal, right? Because remember, this is stuff other than business. So if you're wanting to connect with your customers, you need to know, like for example, if they say to you, oh, my daughter's going to be taking part in a tennis tournament next week, next time you go back to see that customer, You need to show that you're really interested in them, and you need to refer to your journal, right? So as you leave the meeting, you go and write down, his daughter Jennifer is playing in a tennis tournament, and the next time you go back, you actually relate and you say, well, how did it go? How did Jennifer do in the tennis tournament? You see, that way, you're really showing that you're not there to just take the person's money, but you're interested in making sure that you're able to serve them and to help them. Because once you can find something in common with your customers, in other words, you either both ride motorcycles, or you play tennis, or bowls, or whatever it might be, it's just so much easier to connect with a customer when you know something really, really important that you can actually use to connect with them. Because ultimately, what you're there to do, yes, you're there to sell a product, yes, you're there to sell a service, but ultimately, what you really want to show your customers and your prospects is that you have their best interest or their best interest at heart, and you're there to make a meaningful difference in their lives. And they need to see that on the level when you're actually connecting with them. They really need to see that you're authentic, that you're there with their best interests at heart, and you will only do what's best for them. And that's how you build that very crucial element called trust. True sales professionals look for ways to help and serve their prospects and customers, because people readily connect with people that they know, like, and trust. And that's what I keep needing to go back to is what are you doing? Keep asking that question. What am I doing to get this customer to know me? What am I doing to get him to like me? And ultimately, what is it going to take for him to trust me so that he'll actually spend money with my organization? Because that is ultimately the true test, right? You're wanting to create mutually beneficial relationships. There needs to always be a modality of fair exchange. Because the moment you get into a relationship, any kind of relationship, a sales relationship or any relationship where there's no longer modality of fair exchange, where one person feels that they're giving more than the other, even if especially if it's a customer, should I rather say. If your customer feels that they're giving more than they're getting, that is going to definitely damage the relationship. So what you want to be sure of is when you're working to connect with your customers, make sure, remember what Zig Ziglar said. Zig Ziglar said, the more people you can help to get what they want, the more people will help you to get what you want. And keep that in mind when you're connecting with people. Go in with a modality of how can I help you? How can I serve you? How can I connect with you? How can I get you to trust me?